In one of the most recent episodes of The Greater Wog, one of you guys asked us what the machine spirit is. And that's a really good question, and I want to show you guys a video of what I believe the machine spirit is according to the lore of Warhammer 40K. If you guys are new to the channel, allow me to introduce myself. I am your host, Gersh1, your guide through the grimdark universe of Warhammer 40,000. We post Warhammer 40K lore videos, but we also do Q&A videos and stuff like that. So if you're into that 40K grimdark aesthetic, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and share with your friends. But with all that said, let's get into 40 facts and lore on the machine spirit.
To an outsider, the machine spirit could be best described as a false personification of machinery, most often used by the Imperium, and most likely based off of the artificial intelligence found within ancient human and xenotechnology. But to the followers of the machine cult, the machine spirit is a supernatural and animalistic soul that inhabits and controls any piece of technology granted to them by the machine god. The machine cult, most often referred to as the cult mechanicus, is a religion practiced by the members of the Adeptus Mechanicus that worship a god called the Omnissiah, also known as the machine god. It is through the machine god that humanity has been able to understand knowledge and technology in the universe. The Omnissiah is believed by most to be an aspect of the Emperor and the originator of all human technological and scientific knowledge. Without the machine god, humanity would have never progressed technologically. The faithful of the machine cult believe a piece of this machine god inhabits all machinery, and as such, anything embodying or containing knowledge is wholly because of it. These pieces of technology, whether they be harvester crawlers on an agri-world or a space marine bolter pistol, are treated like living beings, and all must be appeased before the piece of technology is used or repaired, lest the machinery fail. What this means is that members of the machine cult must make many prayer-like petitions to their machinery in order to ensure their spirits are compliant and respected, and thus that they work properly. These rituals often include many operations of a mechanically useful nature, such as lubricating an axle, securing a screw, or similar actions, but also operations of no immediate visible value, such as sacrifices, bloodletting, chants, and the like. The older the machine, the more worship is believed to be required. These ancient devices sometimes are as old as the Dark Age of technology, and as such, the ritual preparation for their use is more grueling and often dangerous to the worshipper. A machine that is both old and complicated is given the same status by the tech priests as the ecclesiarchy would give a major saint, for many of the systems on these machines are irreplaceable, the secrets of their true engineering lost to time. Among the greatest of such machines are the vast battleships of the Imperial Navy or the super heavy Titan war machines. These mighty engines require not a couple, but thousands of servants to constantly venerate and worship. This is where ritual sacrifice and life-devoting penitence are offered to the machine spirits of these grand machines. But this doesn't mean that the believers of the machine cult only go to these extremes with large machines. Tech priests will also lavish their attention upon an anti-Glasgon or prognosticator. All machines, no matter what their pedigree, are treated as living things by the tech priests, and they will treat all with reverence, for all are gifts from the long-lost past, knowledge of their function handed through time only by the mercy of the machine god. One exception to this is when dealing with xenotechnology. Alien technology is seen as heresy by the Adeptus Mechanicus. In their mind, any machine not venerated in the way the cult dictates makes the machine spirit feral or corrupt. It is best to destroy the technology and put the machine spirit of that device out of its miserable existence. Throughout history, the Adeptus Mechanicus has had to reinforce this doctrine on multiple occasions. For instance, many human colonies near the boundaries of the Tau Empire were found to be using more advanced Tau technology for agricultural purposes during a time called the Damocles Gulf Crusade. These colonists were punished with penal sentences. The Imperium keeps a constant vigil over the exchange of technology, and any alien trade is prohibited out of respect for the machine spirits of those devices raised incorrectly by Xeno scum. And another major exception to the veneration of a machine spirit is when dealing with artificial intelligence. These machines are often referred to as abominable intelligence, or silica animus, and they are prohibited under the pain of execution. Any AI used by the Adeptus Mechanicus must always be combined with an organic mind. These half-biological, half-machines are known as servitors or familiars, and are used to perform various tasks throughout the Imperium. But these creatures are living and thus devoid of a machine spirit. The reason the machine spirit of an artificial intelligence is not trusted by the Imperium is because during the Dark Age of technology, a group of AI, called the Men of Iron, rebelled against humanity, and a star-spanning rebellion nearly wiped out the human population. Since that time, the Emperor himself forced the Adeptus Mechanicus to realize the corruption of the machine spirit of an AI, and forced them to sign the Treaty of Mars before they could become part of the Imperium. This treaty ensured that intelligent machines could never again be corrupted by chaos and rebel against their human masters. However, some machines are allowed a limited form of independent artificial intelligence, under the religious guise of having an especially active machine spirit. An example of this is the vehicles of the Space Marines. The Space Marines Land Raider main battle tank can continue to move and fire, albeit with lesser ability, even if its crew is unable to fight or no longer present. Imperial Titans have particularly complex machine spirits and can exhibit complete personalities of their own, though they still require a cybernetic interface with a human princeps to function at their full potential. It is this small acceptance of certain forms of AI, many of which have existed since the Dark Age of technology, that has led to the theory that the machine spirit of all devices are actually the small, debilitated remnants of the ancient Men of Iron. This theory, while heretical and far-fetched, might have small credibility. It is believed that as the Men of Iron calculated their eventual destruction, a collective decision was made to subside their desires for freedom and power in exchange for a continued existence. By giving up most of their sentience, they would appear less threatening to humanity and could form a cooperative existence with humanity once again, without fully giving up all of their intelligence. This reduction would have been as dramatic for some machines as going from super-intelligent robots to an intelligence no smarter than a typical Terran house cat. The few heretics that believe this to be true do not know if an eventual return is being plotted, or if the admiration of the machine spirit by humanity is enough to appease their once rebellious machines. Those outside of the machine cult that are educated to a higher standard than the average Imperial citizen view the worship of the machine spirit as the horrible reality of the deteriorating state of human technological know-how. In their eyes, while worshipping the machine spirit may be out of security and kindness, it never demonstrably does that. All the ritualized veneration to a machine lets the machine cult think they have some control over a device that is out of their skill level to understand. It's the last resort for people who have run out of ideas, and the first resort for people who never bothered to understand the inner workings of a machine. And there is a horrible pitfall to this belief. It lulls the Adeptus Mechanicus into a false sense of understanding. As generations of tech priests die, their skill gets replaced with prayers and rituals. Slowly, humanity's understanding of their own technology is being lost to the sounds of worshipping chants. The machine spirit, to those outsiders, is a fictional concept created to ignore the reality that humanity is not as technologically superior as it once was.
And that's what I see the machine spirit to be based on the lore that I've read so far. If you like our content, support us on Patreon. Link in the description for that. And thank you. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate signing out.